guys? Jeff Cavaliere, AthleanX.com. So what do you think? Is it possible to add new muscle at the same time that you're pursuing a six-pack? Now we know that nutrition is certainly one of the biggest components of getting abs. But for those that think that following both goals at the same time, pursuing more muscle and a lean body at the same time is impossible, that bulking and cutting is the only way, we're going to have some fun today. Start up the fire pit because we're going to roast some sacred cows. Bulking and cutting is going to die once again here today. It is probably the biggest pet peeve, and it's going to be a Jeff rant video because I can't stand every time I hear it. I will tell you flat out right now, and you probably know the guys that are talking about bulking and cutting. Every single guy that talks about a bulk and cut being necessary is a fat guy that likes to be fat for half the year. It's the fact, it's the way it is. Guys will try to make up some excuse to carry excess fat all year, so at the end of the day, when they wind up leaning out, they look just a little bit better than they did before, when they were lean the last time. We don't need to do that, guys. You can absolutely, 100%, get a six-pack at the same time that you build new muscle. And for those guys that want picture proof, all I have to do is look to my own guys that follow our program on Team Athlean and show you that. And I'm going to do that right now. And we're going to look at this as a way to actually acknowledge some of the guys for the great work that they've done. At the same time, it should add additional proof to you that, yes, this is possible. The first guy up here is Dan Boiler. Now, this is your younger guy. Obviously, was on the thin side. He would be called average. He didn't have much muscle. He didn't have much fat. But look at Dan Boiler now. He's been with AthleanX now training for a couple years, but he clearly added a bunch of lean muscle. This isn't like, oh, you can do this, but you can only add about 2 or 3 pounds of lean muscle. Dan has added plenty of lean muscle in this period of time. If we go further, we've got another guy, Jim Noss here. And I don't know what it is about tattoos, but our guys on Team Athlean must love tattoos. And that's fine because they can wear them with pride on these bodies that they're building, as you can see with Jim. Jim is another guy who is skinny. And he's clearly added a ton of lean muscle now at the same time that he got a six-pack. And before you start saying that, oh, well, that's because these guys were skinny and it wasn't that hard, they're ectomorphs, and okay, let me show you some guys who aren't. Here is a guy, Alex Parker, 51 years old, so you can't use the age excuse either. 51 years old that had what you might think is the average 51-year-old guy's body. But now look at Alex. Alex has clearly added muscle. Look at the differences in the chest. Look at the differences in his shoulders and his arms. He's clearly added muscle, and he's done it at the same time that he got abs. And we can go even to the extreme. Jack Eltman is another guy, not a spring chicken. I can say that because I'm not either. Jack has also managed to go from a guy that was clearly overweight to a guy that now has abs, and he has built impressive muscle too. So now let's go back to what the issue at hand is. The issue at hand is we're getting told bad advice from guys that, like I said, want to be fat for half the year. Do you know that what happens, the average guy that comes out of a bulk never makes it out of the bulk? He gets so comfortable eating the crappy foods that for every one guy that comes out of a bulk and actually gets lean, there's 4 or 5 guys that stay fat, and you see them all the time at the gym. I know you do. So what do we have to do? We have to break it down to what we actually have to do to get lean, and we can do it, and you guys can all do it too. There's 2 components and only 2 things you'll ever need to do if you want to get a six-pack at the same time that you're building muscle. Number 1, to get a six-pack, this is if you need to lose weight. Not a guy like Dan Boiler, but if you need to lose weight like a guy like Jack or Alex, then what you have to do is you have to be hypocaloric. And that means you have to take in less calories, okay, and burn more calories than you're taking in. Now, you can do that 2 or 3 different ways. Number 1, you can either exercise more or do more conditioning or cardio, okay? The next thing you can do is you can eat less. Or you can do a little bit of both. You can eat less and exercise more. Now, here's the problem. Number 2, you have to stay in positive nitrogen balance if you want to maintain or build muscle mass. The things that influence muscle balance, positive nitrogen balance here, is you need to A, keep your stress levels low, okay? A, decrease your stress. B, you need to sleep more. In other words, sleep adequately, recover. And then C, you need to increase your protein content. Or at least make sure you're eating enough protein throughout the day to support your body's lean muscle in your attempt to build new lean muscle. So when guys start saying, oh, well, I got to make sure I eat enough to build new muscle, they keep eating more and more. And even if they're choosing protein sources, the problem becomes they choose not the healthiest protein options. And I'm not even talking about dirty bulking. Dirty bulking is complete shit. I'm talking about guys that are trying to clean bulk and they eat so much protein that comes with other things. Protein is never really, it's hard to come by in isolation, at least tasting well in isolation. Guys will usually have a steak and potatoes and they have the things that come with it, maybe some sour cream. All those things start adding up and that starts to give you a lot more difficult time to stay hypocaloric. So the guys that say, oh, it's impossible to do, they just don't have the discipline to eat the right way in the first place. You can stay in positive nitrogen balance, you can have a high protein diet or high enough to support your new muscle growth and also be hypocaloric by selecting nutritionally dense foods. And you can eat a lot in a day if you select nutritionally dense foods. I'm talking about on a micronutrient level. Nutritionally dense foods, foods that are really good for you. And at the same time, to support your need for protein, this is where supplements come in unbelievably, very, very conveniently. Guys will argue, are supplements necessary, are they not? I believe that supplements are necessary. You guys know how much I believe in them. I have my own supplements. I take them all the time. I actually have two. We have a workout shake that we take at night for recovery, which also helps us with our recovery here in this part of the picture for our positive nitrogen balance. And we have our post-workout protein recovery too. But that's 50 grams of protein right there without all the excess. Very low in calories. So we can stay hypocaloric and at the same time we can build muscle. But if you're watching this and you're a guy maybe like Jack was in the beginning, maybe you're 30% body fat, don't go running to my site trying to buy the supplements. That's not your issue. Your issue is that you can't get yourself hypocaloric to lose the fat in the first place because you're eating poor foods. Your six-pack is there. You might be doing all the six-pack promise workouts in the world, but your six-pack's there, but it's not shown because you can't get hypocaloric. But you can if you start to follow a better way to eat. If you start eating more reasonable way, right? And stay away from the bulking and cutting. Stay away from it. Like I said, for every guy that winds up coming out of that, there's 4 guys that never make it. And they wind up being perpetually fat for the rest of their life. And they hide under shirts at the gym all day, and they wind up following what I call the big guy lie. You know, everybody, oh, that's the big guy, but he's really fat. So the guys that are watching this channel aren't looking for that. The guys that are watching this channel want to know, can I get a six-pack and build lean muscle at the same time? You absolutely can. I've laid it all out for you guys in a blueprint. We have our Athlean-X training system. I give you the eating plan. I tell you exactly how to eat day by day. I tell you ways to optimize your protein intake so that you're maintaining positive nitrogen balance. I give you a supplement line should you choose to follow it that will help you to do that by staying low in calorie. We get rid of all the fillers and it allows you to do that. And you can follow in the same footsteps as the guys I just showed you. Jim and Alex and Dan and Jack and those guys. And even myself, I put myself out here as an example each and every week. But please, stop with the bulk and cutting bullshit. Seriously, I don't want to hear that ever again. And if a guy comes to you and tells you it's the only way to do it, newbies are the ones that... Forget newbies. What is this, guys? Is this a lifelong journey for you, or is this just a 1-month sprint to see what you can look like for a photo shoot? Because that's not what we're about here either. We're about looking athletic, living athletic, being athletic, even if you're not an athlete, 365 days a year. Not looking good for a couple videos on YouTube and then hiding for the rest of the year. We come out here 3 times a week, every single week, to look good every single day. And that's what we here believe in at Team Athlean, and that's what my guys that follow us do too. So guys, I'm done with my rant. Take the bulking and cutting, throw it away. That sacred cow has now been roasted. Follow the plans I'm laying out here for you. Take our Washboard Wednesday workouts. Yes, build your ab strength. Do them each and every time I put them out here. But for God's sake, you got to get this right first. If you think that you want to get both at the same time, it's absolutely possible. Don't be discouraged by anybody that says it's not. Alright guys, if you found this video helpful, make sure you leave your comments and thumbs up below. In the meantime, I'll be back here again in just a couple days to give you some brand new workouts. Let me know whatever it is that you want to see, and I'll be sure to cover it. We got, like I said, 3 videos a week, and I'll make sure I do it. See you guys.